Hey, this is Stacia, and we're going to take a look at a game that I played at the Parma Chess Club a couple weeks ago. But I have to tell you, I was put in the upper quad, so I was the lowest rated compared to usual. And yeah, I got my butt kicked. So, um, so these are going to be good games to look at, and what I want to figure out is how can I do better in this upper quad? Like what weaknesses are showing, and what is the difference between these players compared to the players my rating or slightly lower even. So let's have a look at this one. Rich Gideon, I'm becoming friends with him. He is now running the Parma Chess Club, and I've been helping him basically, somewhat, but he's doing most of the work. um, but anyway, working with him has been enjoyable. Parma has always been good to me. All right, so let's look at the game. I've never played him before, so I went 1e4, and I was like, what on earth will he play? Well, he played d6. So after d4 taking the center, he played knight to f6, and we are in a PIRC defense. So against this, I like to play knight c3, and after g6, I go f4. Okay. And so he's vankettoing his bishop, and I figured I'll go knight to f3, and I thought, if he castles like this, I would likely play the unzicker attack with the move e5. And let's look at this for a second, because I don't think I've had this over the board yet. But yeah, the main move is to take, which is what I thought. And I would take with my f pawn. And it looks like the main move is knight to d5. So they are threatening to double our pawns here. And the main move is just bishop c4, which I think is pretty interesting. So offering that, I guess. But they don't even take. It's actually not a good idea. The engine likes it the best. But yeah, knight b6. Oh wait, I'm sorry. Knight b6 is a move, but also bishop e6 is the main move. That's interesting. So putting the bishop in front of the e-pawn is the main line here. And then I'm supposed to take, I guess. Well, my bishop is x-rayed and undefended. So I guess he's actually threatening, with the bishop on e6, he's threatening knight takes. That would be a tempo on my queen. And then when I take back, they win the bishop. So apparently we just take here. Yeah, and okay, so that's one possible line. All right, but instead he played this move. So instead of castles, he went c5. Early c5. I've never seen this. So already I'm like, okay, what am I supposed to do here? No clue. So one thing I noticed is that if I take and he takes back, I could trade queens. I think that's actually better for me, right? Like I thought this looks really good. The king would take. So with the king here, I would try to castle queenside as soon as possible. But we could also play e5. Yeah, this is a good position. So I don't think he would do that. I think, if I take, he'd probably go queen a5 is what I was thinking. And pin the knight and threaten knight takes e4. So I don't think I did that in the game. I actually wanted to play something that wasn't theory here. And I went with the move bishop e3, which isn't theory. It also gives up all opening advantage. Okay, good to know. I mean, it develops a piece. I'm defending the pawn he's attacking. So I thought, how bad could it be? but those are famous last words, right? Um, he did take, and well, it's kind of annoying, right? Like, I don't necessarily like these positions where my knight ends up on d4 and is vulnerable to e5 and vulnerable to the bishop and probably will need to move. So, yeah, and he attacked my knight immediately with this move. Okay, so what should I do? I know that taking the knight has to be wrong because it would just bolster his center and give his bishop some scope. So I knew that wasn't correct. But what to do then? Well, I figured he's a little cramped, so I went ahead and played knight to f3. So the computer doesn't like this move, probably because it's, well, it's a waste of a tempo, really. What I could do instead, and what I probably will do next time I'm in a position like this, is just keep developing. I mean, the knight is guarded, right? I mean, you know, even if I play h3, which is very slow, but stops pieces from coming to g4. Even here, if he wants to trade, I think this is fine. I would just take with a bishop. And if I can trade his dark square bishop, I'd be quite happy with that. So I actually don't think he should take, which means I don't need to play knight f3. All right, so, you know, in the game I did this, whatever. Queen a5. So there's a line of the PIRC called the slow system, where queen a5 is played earlier than this even, I think after c6. And one of the ideas behind that queen a5 is to prepare the move e5. So I was mostly on the watch for that because I had just learned that. And, you know, so now you can notice that e5 is well prepared. Black's controlling that square a lot. But the queen's also pinning the knight, and the knight is doing something important. It's guarding a pawn. So I'm trying not to blunder pawns. So I went here, which unpins the knight. In hindsight, I think I'd play bishop d3. I was studying this opening with my coach and with the computer later, and I noticed that in a lot of lines, bishop d3 is played to safeguard the pawn, and that's totally fine. I mean, yeah, I think the other reason, this is something you guys should know too if you play against the PIRC defense like I do. I have realized that bishop e2 can be awfully awkward. It seems weird because it looks like a natural enough square, but the thing about bishop e2 is that often we want to reroute the knight to e2. Like, if these pawns were ever to come forward, we would have to move the knight. And the knight needs that square a lot of times. I don't think in this exact position. But the bishop also can safeguard the pawn. So I think the bishop does belong on d3 in these lines. So anyway, I went queen d2, and, well, I'm like, well, it's unpinned, you know, he can't take here anymore because I would go here. That'd actually be quite tragic, right? Because if he takes back, I take this way. Well, actually, it doesn't matter. I thought the knight was under attack. It isn't. Okay, blundering already. All right, so he castled, and I went bishop e2. Once again, I don't think I would play that move again. Yeah, and he played a6. I'm not sure what that move does. I don't think that's a good move. It just seems slow and a little bit lazy. So I played a slow and lazy move. Okay. But actually, I'm going to share with you guys the idea behind h3. This is a move I often play in Benoni's. And I got the idea from John Bartholomew, who said, the move h3, yes, we are controlling an important square, but we're mostly playing against this light square bishop. This light square bishop doesn't have a lot of good active squares to go to. And I guess black could go for b5 here, but that would weaken the knight. I'm not sure about that plan for black. And plus, that's awfully slow, right? That takes 2 tempos. The bishop would love to come here, I think. And so we take that square away from the bishop, and then we argue that the bishop doesn't have good squares. So is that totally true? It's way more true in a Benoni, I will tell you. I almost called it a bologna. It's way true in the bologna, guys. All right, well, this wasn't a bologna. It's a PIRC defense, or PIRC is the correct pronunciation, I believe. So I am playing against the bishop, fine. Also, knight g4 can be annoying attacking that bishop. So I actually missed this move. I have never seen this move before. I didn't expect it at all. I mean, I expected him to, do something about his bishop. Instead, this queen b4 idea is interesting. I mean, it's a greedy move. He's attacking pawns. Notice that the knight is on this pawn as well. So I was like, wow, he's double attacking me. Now, I've reviewed this game, and it seems so obvious what I should do here. That's not totally true, but let me explain what I mean. Okay, well, during the game, I was like, well, I'm double attacked, but hey, no problem. I sacrifice pawns like it's my job. I'm just going to stack a pawn and get more development and hopefully an initiative. So I played the move castles, which I think now in hindsight is a mistake, because here's the thing. He's attacking our e pawn and our b pawn. Now, if we have to choose which one to give up, I think I would pick the b pawn for sure, because the queen doesn't really belong there. Rook b1 could happen. The knight's guarding this. And there might even be ideas of trapping the queen. The e pawn is a center pawn. It's often used to play the move e5, which is very much a desirable move for me that I would like to get in. Well, I can't play that if I don't have an e pawn, right? And with the center pawn gone, this is weaker, this is weaker. So we obviously don't want to give up the e pawn. We want to give up our b pawn. So therefore, I think castles is just a mistake. Instead, what we need to do is play this way. a3. I don't mind kicking the queen, because now if he wants to take a pawn, he should do it now with queen takes b2. But yeah, the computer likes white now after castles. So this is how I should have played it. And I'm not sure he would have taken the pawn. He's a pretty strong player. He probably would just go queen a5, I guess. I'm not totally sure. Yeah, there's nowhere else to go, really. So I think he would go here. Okay, and then in that case, I got a3 for free, and now I can castle. And I think white's a little better here, because I guess that kind of refutes that queen b4 move. So the queen will be forced off of the e pawn, and I get to keep my e pawn. Yay. So instead of that, I played castles, which I think is a clear mistake. And I think after he wins the pawn, I have some compensation here. I think some. But not enough. I mean, that's a center pawn. That's a center pawn. I don't have my e5 break anymore. I lost most of my center control. So I think, yeah, I think black's better here. Okay, so knight g5. What could be a better move than that, right? But guess what? Knight g5 is a blunder. If you want to pause your video and find a winning move for black, go ahead and do so now. So I have to calculate this myself. I remember there's a trick, and I do believe it's queen takes e3 check. And after queen takes e3, there's bishop d4, pinning my queen to the king. And if I do take, I'm wondering if knight takes or bishop takes is better. And is that winning? That's my other question, because, well, with the queens off the board and being down a pawn, I think, yeah, probably black is winning. They also have the bishop pair. All right, winning's a little strong. The computer said -2 and I jumped to winning. But I think black's comfortable there. Let's call it comfortable and better. Comfortable and better. So, yeah, knight g5. I never dreamed this was a move. But it is a move. Takes. Bishop d4. Oh, and I was saying take with a bishop or a knight. I don't have two dark square bishops. So they would take this way. And, okay, this is attacked. And this is attacked. I probably have to go here. And then bishop f5. Yeah, this is... This is not good. I'm down a pawn and I don't see compensation anymore. So, in fact, I think if anyone has compensation, it's black. All right, so let's go back. Okay, so I actually think this, oops. I actually think this A3 thing from earlier was a critical moment. And knight g5 is a blunder, but we both missed it. This is rapid anyway. I actually did expect queen b4, and I planned c3, queen a5, and okay, bishop d3. So I find positions like this very interesting where, like, okay, there's nothing like very direct we can do. So it's time to make a plan. And I love doing this part of the game, but I also think I'm kind of bad at it. So I want to do what grandmasters do. They know so many ideas and plans that they've seen before that they have built an arsenal of those for themselves, and they know specific structures and specific openings. And I've heard many IMs, not many, maybe one or two, say that grandmasters just seem to know what to do in every type of position. They always know like what plans and ideas there are, and they find them very quickly. Okay, so I've never had a position like this one. So I had to make it up, which is still interesting. So I'll show you what I played, and then let's learn what the computer wants to do. Okay, so here I decided on the move bishop d3. So what was my idea? My idea was that I want to play f5. Okay, I want to play f5, but I can't do that right now because it's protected too many times. Way too many times. So I thought I would reroute the bishop to this diagonal. Then he also cannot play bishop f5 comfortably because I'll double his pawns, and that will be weaker. And maybe I could even get an attack on the king side in that case. So I went with that. I mean, there are other ideas I could go for. Another plan I thought about was trying to attack the king. Like, well, I actually might start with this move and go queen f2, queen h4. I think that is an idea. We would hit h7 with tempo if he has to do this. There might be resources, I'm not sure. Okay, but anyway, we could apply pressure there. We could also push h4, h5 as an idea as well. So there were some different ideas I considered here, but I went with this one. And the computer does want bishop f5. He went e6. Yeah, I was actually hoping to provoke e6. And the reason is that shuts in his bishop. So with the bishop bad, I do have compensation for a pawn. I don't think it's enough. He said after the game that he thought it was enough, but okay. Computer says almost enough, so we were both right. AKA we were both wrong. Okay, so bishop to c2. So I want to play f5 and yeah, what's the problem? I thought if I played f5 here, well, I can't really do that now because e6 did stop it. So I was thinking, let's open up, my queen on the d file again. Okay. He went d5. And here I played knight f3. So after the game, he told me that he thought my best plan was to play like queen f2 and queen h4 and maybe make some threats against his king side. And he thought because his bishop's bad and his pieces are on the queen side, I might get some attack going. I showed that to my coach after. He wasn't sure about that either, but okay. So I went here and queen c7 and knight d4. Okay. So knight d4, the computer does not like at all. It thinks it's dubious. Yeah, I can see why. Okay, I'm down a pawn, so I don't want to trade pieces. So I don't know why I played that move. Yeah, I don't know why I played it. I must not have known what to do. So knight d4. Instead, well, I was thinking about queen f2 all this time. Yeah, queen f2 is the top engine move. Also rook ad1, just activate the rook. So I failed at this part of the game. I mean, he can definitely take the knight, but he played here, connecting his rooks, also fine. I went rook ac1. Okay. So here's definitely something I notice about playing these stronger players, 1900 players. I often get good positions against players my rating. Like 80% of the time, I would say I get openings that I know and I feel pretty comfortable with, and I get good positions as a result, and I'm not as behind on the clock in general. Against stronger players, I face openings I don't know very well, and then I have no idea what to do in the middle game, and I get outplayed. And I feel like that's what happened this game. And well, at this point, I think it's too late. I think I'm already too much worse, and he's too strong. I mean, if he did blunder this game and let me back in, that would be great, but that actually didn't happen. Yeah, I just went from worse to worse to worse. And my time clicked down, and I lost this game. So it's already too late. I got outplayed, and knight d4 is a big mistake. So, and it's interesting when, it used to be when I was like 1100, it used to be, oh, I hung a piece and I might still be okay because my opponent's 1100. Yeah, now when I play a 1900, it's like I made a strategical error and now that's all they needed. And now I'm going to lose slowly and painfully. So you're going to see, how he did it. So how do you win this position? Well, he went bishop d7. I went rook ac1, just putting my rook across from the queen. I was really hoping to play like bishop b1 and get c4 in if possible. Knight a5, I think that's a nice move. He's threatening to come in here. I don't think I can allow that move, so I played b3. Computer agrees. Now he's piling on my weak pawn because b3 weakened c3. So I knew I was in trouble here, and yeah, I pushed the pawn. This is a mistake as well, but what to do? I'm going to lose that pawn. Maybe I should go ahead and lose it Computer says bishop d3 here. Oh, that protects the pawn, right, with the rook. That makes sense. I also could have gone bishop b1, right? Yeah, I could do this one. I like that a little bit better. But instead, I played this, and I just don't have enough for this, right? Like, oh, actually, I remember. I saw a ghost here. Actually, the opposite of a ghost. I actually thought the knight was hanging, which is crazy. So that means I need to play over the board more and not on a computer screen. Because when I play 3D, I sometimes have blind spots, especially in rapid when I'm moving more quickly. So after I played c4, I realized, like, wait, that's not hanging. Like, I thought this is a discovered attack. Nope, instead it's just a blunder. So he took. I went here, so now the pawn is pinned, but, you know, b5, protect it. Okay, queen f2. And this just looks rough, doesn't it? I mean, not only can he take at the right moment or push at the right moment, but the bishop is supporting it, and his pieces look quite good. I think his light square bishop is still a problem, but probably not for long, right? Like, maybe even now. So he did this instead. I did have some tricky ideas here, but none of it really worked. Yeah, actually, I think that's why he went queen e7. I was planning this fork, but he saw it, so I did it anyway because I didn't know what else to do. Okay, attack the knight. The knight came in this way. Yeah, and I probably should move my bishop. That's what the computer says. Instead, I did this, trying to bring my knight to a better square. But he could actually take the knight. Or, oh, his move was even stronger, c3. Yeah, now c3 comes with tempo on my knight. So that's not good. Yeah, what to do here, right? Because if I move my knight back, he will take. And that's a free piece. And it's also hitting my queen. So that's not good. So I took the knight because I think it's forced. And after rook takes, I just brought the knight back. So knight d2 is a horrible move. Black was -8 here. Yeah, if your opponent gets this structure, I think, you know, you're probably lost. So, oh, and actually here, I was under a minute and I stopped notating the game, but I assure you he had a clean win. So what can we learn from this game? Let's have a look at the key moments now that we've gone through the game. So like I've said, when I play strong players, they play openings I don't know well. And when I play opponents my rating, they tend to fall into lines that I do know well. And sometimes when I play lower rated players, they play lines that are just terrible. And I often will know how to punish it. But so one thing I need to do is learn every time I come across one of these openings where I'm uncomfortable, I need to go ahead and spend time on that, I think, and start filling in these gaps on the openings I don't know well. Now, some people will say, don't worry about your openings, but I do enjoy openings, and I also don't enjoy losing a bunch of time in the opening. So I do think it will be beneficial to me to spend some time on that. Okay, and I should know not to lose the tempo, but okay, and here, you know, the bishop belongs there guarding the pawn. Okay, and queen b4, this idea by him to double attack my pawns was really nice. Now it turns out I can refute it with the move a3. but I did not react to this correctly. Yeah, a3 and I get an advantage. After here, now I have full compensation and maybe a little extra for the pawn. But the way I did it, sacrificing the center pawn, was just plain incorrect. And of course, this is a blunder. Just crazy. What a crazy tactic this is. What a crazy tactic. That's just crazy. But, I mean, I think it's kind of... Okay, I still have chances to hang on here. So what did I do wrong? My plan wasn't the best. The computer actually liked a4. We didn't cover this earlier. But the computer wants a4. So gaining space on the queen side. So I wonder if we want to go b4 and make the queen uncomfortable. And then maybe even go for b5. Oh, wow. I actually like that. Because look, I've got so much on b5. And he cannot take with a pawn because it's pinned, because he has a bad bishop separating his rooks. So I definitely love the move a4, going for that b4, b5 push. So I wonder if I could start with b4. Yeah, that's the third engine move. And the second one is rook a to c1, which I don't understand at all. So I have a feeling that rook a c1 is all about getting out of the way of the bishop. Maybe we're going to go for c4, c5, and I guess we're offering the a pawn. And if black takes the a pawn, we simply come back. And if queen b3, we go rook a3. Wow, black has this move, but it actually says white's winning. So, okay, if I was black, I would want to move the queen. Oh, the queen's trapped. Okay, so the idea was to trap the queen. That's very cool. Yeah, that queen is trapped. That is why black must do this, counterattack. But, yeah, I can take, because when they take my queen, I win the bishop. So I won material here. Yeah, white's winning, and white has two bishops. So had I found that middle game plan, I might have been able to hang on. Instead, I played here, and okay, I might still be able to hang on here, but I don't really have compensation for a pawn anymore. Yeah, and then finally, this is the biggest misstep of them all. It kind of drives me crazy that I would play this move, because I know when I'm down a pawn, I don't want to trade a bunch of pieces. And knight d4 is like, hey, I want to trade a bunch of pieces. So clearly I didn't know what to do. Queen f2 is a better try, you know, and honestly, I think I would leave the knight on g5. Like, leave the knight on g5 and just go here. And, you know, if he wants to develop his bishop or something, I just might go queen h4. I mean, is that good? I don't know. I guess there is h6, but at least I'm weakening things some. Yeah, I don't know. At least I'm getting a little bit of play here. I don't think it's much, but it would be better than just trading pieces. So in the actual game, I got killed. Yeah, and he didn't even trade. What a testament to him. Knight a5 was an annoying move, threatening knight c5, and yeah. And then I saw the ghost. Yeah. Okay, well, anyway, that's a really good game for me to learn from. You know, Rich Gideon's a very good player, so I hope to face him again, and I hope to do a little bit better next time. So thanks for watching, and I'll be back with more chess.